All right, FFA, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Let's jump into this kickoff call this Monday morning. Phenomenal week to you guys last week. Awesome first kickoff to the month of April. I can't wait to see where we finish this month up as an agency. Production reporting for March is going to be coming out your guys' way here within the next few days as we tackle those production reports. But so many of you hit such a big month in the month of March. So you better give yourselves a big congratulations, because I know there are a countless number of you who hit a new record month and probably even a new production month in the month of March. But April's shaping up to be even better. It's spring. All right. It's lighter out later, finally getting out of the winter. And it is the perfect time to just set your year up for success for the rest of this year. So today's call, we're going to talk about finding that right direction. All right, for the next couple of months throughout this year. How do you make sure that you get to your destination that you want to see for yourself, whether it's personal production, whether it's personal income, or whether it's team production and team growth? And it might be all three of those things. So we're going to dive into how to do that as an agent. But if you missed Friday's call, go back and listen to it, because Alicia gave you guys such good tips on connecting and working your way through the house and being able to actually connect and close deals. So if you missed that call, go back to the channel and make sure you check it out. But without further ado, let's talk about the verse of the day. Hopefully this doesn't freeze on me like it's been doing. Hopefully it stays good this week. But verse of the day, we put our hope in the Lord. He is our help and our shield. All right. That's so true, guys. As you go into this career, as you go into this Monday morning, all right, it's rainy here in North Carolina. Don't put your hope in worldly things. Don't put your hope in your own abilities, but put your hope in Him. Put your hope in Him that He's going to create the opportunities for you this week that you've been waiting to unlock, that you've been waiting to find. All right. Put your hope in Him, because His timing is never off. All right. And if you ask for help, I know that you're going to receive it. So that's the verse of the day right there, is put your hope in the Lord, for He's your help and He is your shield. When He's your number one, everything else seems to fall into place. Let's talk about the top 15 of the week. Last week, we had Dylan claiming his spot in the top 15. Big shout out to him. I think he had like 8 applications last week, something big for him. So nice work to you, Dylan. Big shout out to Sam, as she had an amazing week. Joni with another great week. Kelly, phenomenal week to her. Big shout out there for the Gilbert team. Big shout out to Taylor. Taylor was on a roll last week. I feel like every day I logged in, she was posting multiple applications on the day. So nice work to you, Taylor. Big shout out to Becky. Becky's just a permanent top 15. She will always be in it. I don't think there's ever been a week that I've posted this and she's not been in it. Same with Julie. So big shout out to those two. All right. They need a placeholder in the top 15. I'm just going to keep their name there, because I know they're always hitting it week in and week out, but super proud of them. Big shout out to Rebecca. She had a phenomenal week last week for herself, and she's so far currently leading the agency, all right, year to date. So big shout out to Rebecca. Jess with a huge week last week, as she crushed it there on the phones. Jenna, like always, look how tight this leaderboard is. You guys edged each other out by like 1 application. So big shout out to Jenna for putting her name on the top 15. Jenny Ivy came in with a bang last week, as she put her name up there in the leaderboard. Big shout out to Ray. Ray's another one every week. Names up there in the top 15. So big shout out to him. Big things coming. Erin, last year's agent of the year. She's not giving this year up easy, as she had a huge week last week. KZ coming in just on fire last week. She's been back to back weeks in the top 15. So nice work to her. And then taking home number 1 was Paulo with a massive week for himself. He says he's going to do it even better this week. So I know there's even a bigger week coming for Paulo, but big shout out to him. Ladies, you heard on the call on Friday, Alicia said her money might be on a guy to win agent of the year this year. So we'll see. All right. But Paulo didn't come back agent of the week last week. I think Dennis was in there. So it's going to be a challenge. We're going to see. Maybe this is the year that a guy will actually take home number one, but I wouldn't count the ladies out yet because I know that they're super competitive. So we'll see. We'll see who the agent of the week is this week. But guys, on today's call, we're going to talk about running in the right direction as an agent. All right. As a team builder, as a coach, as an agent, as somebody who is taking this opportunity here at FFA and running with it, taking the career opportunity and making it what, all right, it's possible, making what it's possible to be for you. So how do you run in the right direction? Guys, in our career as agents, it is so easy to have big goals, right? You have no cap on your income, no cap on your production. And so we oftentimes will set a big goal for ourselves. All right. But as we're running towards that goal, if we don't have a narrow path to follow, a lot of agents won't end up on at the destination that they want to see themselves at, whether it's production for the month, income for the month, or for the entire year. So today's call is going to be geared towards helping you pick that destination and then helping you actually run to hit that, all right, in the right direction. Have you ever tried to follow a GPS or try to go somewhere without a GPS? All right, I remember back when I was little, when we would go from New York to North Carolina, we used to do a vacation in the Outer Banks. This was before Garmin, right? I remember my dad and my mom being up there in the driver's seat. They would have this big map pulled up and they would be following the line, right, of the highways to get to the Outer Banks. And then fast forward to when I started driving, right, Google Maps was a thing. So you could just input it in the GPS and it would take you right there. Think about how hard it would have been for us to get to North Carolina from New York if we didn't have a map. Think about how hard it would have been for me just starting out driving if I didn't have Google Maps to get anywhere. Think about how hard it would be for you to get anywhere, all right, without your GPS on. Most of us use our GPS every single day. Some of you might still use it just going from your house to the grocery store or to Target or to wherever, right? We don't really need to know roads anymore because our phones will tell us exactly where to go. It will tell us what the fastest route is, right? On Friday, it was either Friday or Saturday, we got tickets to the Durham Bulls game. If you've never been to Durham, North Carolina, there's a big highway that runs through it. There's a lot of different roads, right? It's very busy on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Traffic is horrible. And so if you don't have that GPS on, if you're just trying to guess how to get there, you might take yourself an hour longer than if you just would follow the GPS and follow the routes, right? But as we were headed to the stadium, there was a huge traffic jam on the highway. The stadium's only 20 minutes from my house. But if I stayed in that spot the way we would usually drive, it was going to take us like 45 minutes, almost twice as long to get to the game. All right. Google Maps, I was able to click around and find a way to get around all that traffic and get there. All right. And get there faster. But as agents, a lot of us are doing that. A lot of us are just sitting in traffic, going in a general direction without actually following the right roadmaps, right? The right direction to hit the destination that we want to achieve. So hopefully this call will make it much simpler for you guys as you're running towards that. But what I want you guys to do first is take this quote. All right. Now, at our church service yesterday, the preacher went over this concept. All right. And I totally stole this quote from what he shared, but I loved it. And it's the first time I heard it. But he said, everything worthwhile is uphill. All right. And he quoted that's John Maxwell that said that. And guys, for you as an agent, as a team builder, this is so true. Your career is uphill. Everything that's worth anything is going to be uphill, right? None of it's ever going to be easy. None of it's ever going to be an easy walk downhill to achieve it. All right, think about it. The best views are from the tallest peaks, right? I remember being in Jordan, and we were deployed to Jordan. We were stationed. Our camp was at the base of this little mountain, right? We were staying in tents for like a month. And I remember one day we wanted to climb up to the top of the mountain, right? So we patrol our way up to the top of the mountain. And once you're up at the top, it's amazing what the view would look like. But climbing that mountain was no joke, all right, especially with gear on. It was a big climb. All right, very difficult climbing up rocks, getting up there, but what an amazing view it was. All right, I would do that climb all over again, knowing what I got to see when I was up there. All right, same goes true for this career, guys. This career is not easy. All right, but it is very simple, and it's a simple climb. Just like that mountain that I climbed in Jordan, it was very simple. Here's the base of the mountain. There's the top of it. Walk up it. All right. It was that simple. It wasn't complicated, but it was difficult. All right. It took energy. It took effort. It took perseverance. And your career as an agent is the same way. So stop expecting your week to be easy. Stop expecting the leads to answer the phone and say, yeah, I want 400,000 worth of insurance, right? Stop expecting your leads to open up the doors and just let you walk right in. It's not going to be like that. Team builders and coaches, stop expecting your team to just poof, appear in front of you. And next thing you know, you've got $1 million team, right? It doesn't work that way. So take this concept this week and run with it. Everything worthwhile is uphill. All right. That's number one. Number two, I want you guys to think about, what is your destination? And I want you to write it down. I want you to put it in the agency WhatsApp chat or put it in the comments. What are you running for this year? Where do you want your personal income to be? Where do you want your team production to be? Your individual production? Take all those numbers and put it in there. If you don't have a specific number, it's like trying to drive somewhere without having the address. All right. It's like saying, hey, I want to go to somewhere in New York City, but I don't know the exact address. So I just type New York City on the map and get close. Guys, you might be in New York City, but might be nowhere near your destination. That can happen to you as an agent if you don't map out what you actually want to achieve. So that's the second step. Actually map it out. All right. Progress takes energy. This is another concept that we learned about this weekend. All right. It doesn't just happen. Guys, think about how much effort goes in to changing your life. Think about how much effort you've put into your life from the time you were born to right now to get you where you are. Think about that. Chances are it wasn't easy for you. Chances are you had to overcome some stuff. You had to grow through some things. You had to wake up and go through days you really didn't want to go through. You had to accomplish things and do things that took energy. This career is the same way. Guys, whatever amount of energy you will put into this career as an agent is the amount of achievement you're going to get out of it. So if you're not hitting the targets you want to hit, you're probably not putting in to the career what you need to put in to get the result that you want to achieve. Progress takes energy. All right. It's not going to just come to you. The production's not going to come to you. If you saw the top 15 from last week, those were agents who put a lot of energy into their week last week. They put a lot of time. They sat with a lot of people. They called a lot of people. They bought a lot of leads. They put the time in. Progress takes energy. Team builders, coaches, if you see a team that's just exploding, right, in growth like so many of you are, and you're like, man, I want my team to do that. Why is it not doing it? It's because that coach, that recruiter is putting more energy into team building, all right, than you might be. So progress takes energy. It doesn't just happen. So think about that. How much energy are you willing to put in to get to that destination that you want to achieve? All right, let's talk about the next concept, resistance. This was something that the pastor said that I just loved how he said it. It was so interesting hearing it come in the terms of church compared to how we do things in business every single day. But this is what he said. Okay. He said, resistance is a sign that you're on track. All right. Resistance is a sign that you are actually on the right track. And what he was talking about the more you grow in your faith, the more resistance you're going to get, right? The devil's not going to let someone get close to God without trying to put up a fight to prevent that from happening. In the same light, all right, the devil's not going to let you hit new heights in your career without putting some roadblocks and resistance in your way, all right, to do that. I can show you guys every single year that we've been in this industry, from the time we started this company to right now. Every single year, there's more resistance. There's more issues. There's more problems. There's more roadblocks. There's more complicated things that need to be solved. But every single year, the more resistance we get, the more successful the agency is. It always goes hand in hand. And it's going to be the same for you on your road towards individual production and team production. The more you sell, the more chargebacks you're going to get. All right, guys, if you're used to writing 5 people in a week and only 1 cancels, and now you write 10, now you're going to have at least 2 cancel. That's the way that works. All right, team builders, coaches, the more agents you hire, okay, the more you got to coach, the more time you got to put into your team, right? You're going to get hit with that resistance. The more you hire, the more you're going to lose. All right, it's the same concept. The more agents you bring on, the more agents you have that might decide this career is not for them. That's just how this business works. Resistance is a sign that you're doing the right thing, that you're on the right path. Okay. If you're not getting resistance, you're not trying hard enough. If you're not getting told no 10, 15, 20 times in a day, you're not trying hard enough. Don't run away from the no's, run towards them. All right. Resistance is a clue that you are headed in the right direction. If you're not getting hit with resistance, you're not going the right way. All right. You're going backwards on the path that was easy. You got to go forward towards your new destination, right? I don't know. Does anybody watch Yellowstone? All right. That's watching this video right now. Put it in the WhatsApp chat. Do you watch Yellowstone? If you do, all right, there's 1923. It goes back in time before Yellowstone was a thing, right? It goes back in time to when they took over the family ranch. Well, if you've been watching 1923, the second season, you'll have noticed they hit a lot of resistance on Spencer's way to get back from Europe back to fight for his ranch, or on his wife's way to get from Europe to meet him at the ranch. A lot of resistance. All right, guys, anything worthwhile is uphill. And this career is just like all those cases. You're going to get hit with resistance if you want to achieve something big. The more you do, the more the world has a way of trying to stop you from breaking through to your real potential. It's just the way that it works. So don't fight that. So, guys, as you're running towards a new height this year, maybe this is the week that you're going to put your head down and run towards a record week. Think about your best week ever in this industry. What was it? 4K, 5K, 15. Some of you have hit 20K weeks. Think about that number and set a number that's even higher than that, and try to run in the right direction to beating it. Teams, what's been your best week ever as a team? Go to your team chat and put it in your team chat. What's been your record week? Think about your team's career. What has been your record week? Put it in the chat and set a target above it that you guys can run towards to beat this week. But you got to run in the right direction, right? You got to have simple steps laid out to achieve that destination that you're trying to run to. But that's all I got for you guys. If you're facing resistance, if you're waking up this Monday morning with a lot of back office to catch up with, a lot of people to follow up with last week, that's a sign that you're doing everything right. So let's go have a big week this week, guys. I appreciate you for jumping on here. Wednesday's call is going to be a fun one with a lot of agents coming on. So make sure you tune into that one, and we will be back here on Wednesday. Let's go have a big Monday.